All right, had a couple of technical difficulties, but good evening, everyone. Welcome to Black Logic. Thank you guys for joining me here this evening. I want to jump right in because I do have a couple of stories to cover. A lot of news updates nonetheless. But I wanted to point it out that a political journalist from The Intercept revealed that a senior Trump official accidentally sent her a text containing detailed war plans involving Yemen. Now, the document highlighted potential U.S. military actions and airstrikes, which were never meant for public eyes. The blunder not only risks national security, but also raises serious questions about the administration's handling of sensitive information. I wonder how, first and foremost, how did war plans get on a text? How was this misdirected to this journalist out of all people in the world? I can understand certain details and information that is transmitted through a text, maybe for some indication or alertness, but war plans that is communicated through a text and then somehow ends up into a journalist's hands really sounds something very um, like a misappropriation of information being sent and underhanding of certain funds to a particular journalist. I won't say any names because again, this is rhetoric to a certain degree, as I state, and a lot of allegations may come out because of this, because it makes the Trump administration altogether look very badly because of the lack of security when it comes to actual war plans being communicated to a journalist, no less, because freedom of press, journalists are most likely to reveal and to publicize a lot of the information that they found. Now, hopefully, this journalist understands the gravity of these war plans and the strategic value of these war plans and not release them because, again, this is a very large breach in public and national security altogether. So, again, as we look at this, we have to tighten up the screws. That is the Trump administration any worse or any better than the Biden administration when it comes to national security? Because President Biden, he's revealed a lot of information publicly, but not to the extent of war plans to another potential war country that we'll be in conflict with. So again, a lot of these things we have to really keep ourselves abreast with as we travel along. Now, amidst chaos and meme culture gone mad, a group of online Doge crypto extremists reportedly tried to influence decisions at an NIH hospital by pressuring for the firing of ICU doctors over unfounded COVID 19 treatment claims. And this bizarre intersection of internet culture, crypto, and medical policy have sparked a wave of concern over the spread of misinformation and digital harassment of professionals. Have you noticed how some of these news agencies really label the Department of Deutsch or anything related to Deutsch or even Elon Musk? Because again, Elon Musk is being attacked on all fronts. Okay. And again, I'm not vouching for Elon Musk. I'm not trying to take up for Elon Musk. But for the Department of Deutsch, what they're doing is revealing and trying to eradicate fraud, waste, and abuse out of our government. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. When we see a lot of federal judges trying to stop the dismantling of the Department of Education, and we're gonna cover that as well. We're gonna give you an update of that as well, because again, a lot of these liberal Democratic judges have come out and tried to impose sanctions, essentially barriers, so the Trump administration can't accomplish a lot of the things it sought out and planned to do. Even though they had the Senate, the House, and the presidency, don't forget, there's a lot of Democratic judges already, federal judges that are already in place. So that's important to point out as well. So these are the things that we have to look at. And as I stated before, Elon Musk, he's being attacked on all fronts. And everything is not just physically when it comes to destruction of Tesla vehicles, because the Tesla's market performance in Europe has taken a serious hit with recent data showing a sharp decline in sales. Now, this particular backlash against Elon Musk stemming from political tweets, on this platform X, labor disputes, and controversial decisions has turned off consumers, especially in Germany and France. European buyers are increasingly turning to local EV competitors, leaving Tesla scrambling. And Tesla could be in hot water in the European markets, and I'm going to tell you why. The European markets have allowed Chinese EV makers to come inside the space, and the Chinese EV makers are making what seems to be better vehicles cheaper. I know a buddy of mine, we looked at a vehicle that was made by LI, I believe. It was called the LP or LI 9, and it's an SUV. And if you guys check a lot of those BYDs and there's a lot of these Chinese car makers. I used to invest in a lot of them. And as you can tell right here, let me show you this graphic very quickly. This is actually a BYD vehicle. And BYD means build your dream. Now, this vehicle in my opinion, is not very attractive at all. But BYD has made a EV sports car that can actually hop. Like you can hop over a pothole, and it's very sleek. Now, this vehicle, last time I checked, the price on it was $233,000. Of course, there's no Chinese vehicles in America, and I don't believe that President Trump will allow that because they will kill the EV market in America. They will kill Rivian. They will totally make Tesla a Ford Geo. Remember the Neo Geos that Ford used to make back in the day, the Neo Geos. But they would totally decimate Tesla, Rivian, any of the EV vehicles that we sell by American automakers. That's how large EVs are in China. And they're making actually great vehicles now. This is according to the reviews that I've read. Okay. I don't know personally. I've never driven an electric vehicle. Excuse me. I've never drove an electric vehicle, let alone a Chinese electric vehicle. But for the reports I hear, especially BYD and LI Auto, Xpeng, and NIO. All of these will top the markets in America when it comes to the EV markets if they were allowed in our markets. Okay, so we pretty much accept everything from China when it comes to products. So a lot of our businessmen go to China to broker these deals where, let's take for instance, this mouse I'm using here. This mouse in America will cost one of our manufacturers, let's say, $10 a unit. Okay, $10 a unit, but in China, this would be $1 a unit. So you can only imagine the profit that a lot of people, when they go to China to broker these deals, to have them to build the products and then ship them to America, the amount of money that they're making on every single deal. Okay, but yeah, they're attacking Elon Musk on all fronts. And it's not just destroying Tesla vehicles. They're stopped buying Teslas in Europe. And this can also be looked at in some regards as anti-American. This can also be looked as, how we are really ruffling the feathers of the EU nations, China, Canada, Mexico. Is there a better way that Donald Trump could have went about really changing the very infrastructure of the world, let alone the very fabric of America? Is there a better way that he could have done this? Now, necessarily, I don't know. I would like to believe there's a better way, but I'm thinking he only has 4 years. And some people believe that 4 years in government is a very long time. It's a very short time, because the things that you do in your first 4 years really doesn't execute inside the markets until the next 4 years. So a lot of presidents try whatever agenda that they may have. Most presidents want 2 consecutive terms so they can actually see the changes that they made in their first term. So again, I don't really know. I don't have the wherewithal or the information to state that he went about this the right way. But as we're looking at the world in its entirety, the world seems as though they're being anti-American. And it's because of a lot of the things that Trump has revealed of the deals that America has been in with a lot of these countries. And he has been going about this very systematically, one by one. But now we're at the point where we are ruffling the feathers of EU nations. We're ruffling the feathers of Canada and Mexico, and of course, the Middle East. All together. There's so much going on right now in America. We are even having difficulties from people traveling to America. And we're going to cover that news story as well. So I keep you guys updated. Now, if you're new to Black Logic, Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you are alerted every time I go live or post a video. The Trump White House is facing legal backlash after issuing an executive order to shut down the Department of Education. That is the next story I'm going to cover for you guys, but I really want to just mention United Airlines very quickly. Right now, my family and I, we're in a very, very small dispute with American Airlines. And as I saw this story here, as I was combing through a lot of my updates, I was looking at how United Airlines is tearing up their memberships, and things are going to become very expensive even with United Airlines. Now, you never really hear United Airlines with negative publicity or negative advertisement, but I can tell you the ordeal that my family and I are going through very currently. We're trying to escalate this and elevate this to a higher level, maybe to a senior manager or an executive of our total experience. And I may cover that in a different video, but I just wanted to point out, like, as I was reading the story, you know how you are personally involved in an altercation or incident or situation involving a business, and you see something that they're doing that's not even related to what your claim or case may be, it just kind of ruffles your feathers. So this is mostly an emotional response by me than anything else. But I definitely wanted to point out their increases of how much things are going to cost. Okay. But I digress. I will definitely move on to the Department of Education. Because again, the Trump administration is facing legal backlash. And this is after issuing an executive order to shut down the Department of Education. And we covered that last week because Trump claims it's about decentralizing education and leaving it up to the states. But a lot of the critics, mostly the liberals and Democrats, argue, and a couple of Republicans as well, it argues a political stint with serious implications for federal aid and student protections. Now, lawsuits are now piling up from education coalitions and civil rights groups. I wonder if anyone knows, as well as Roe versus Wade being overturned, that he left it up to the states to determine the laws of abortion, because there are some states that allow abortion and then there's other states who have banned abortion. This is going to be similar when it comes to the Department of Education. Now, every state, if they not already have one, I believe that they do have their own version of the Department of Education. That may increase because now everything is being handed back to the states. And based upon what the Trump administration has stated, that giving power back to the states is a constitutional thing that should have been done a very long time ago. Okay. So a lot of people think that this is not going to be a good thing. And as I stated many times before, that this on a federal level should have some sort of oversight committee to ensure that the states are doing right by the people. Okay. Doing right by the people. And again, this should be very, as people always say, bipartisan. I'm going to say tripartisan. I believe that this should be a tripartisan effort. It should be Democrats on the board, Republicans on the board, as well as independents on the board. We have these three major political parties in America, and really two are only major. That's why we always state bipartisan. It should be tripartisan. I can't even say the word because I just kind of made it up on my own there. But nonetheless, it should be tripartisan nonetheless. So we'll see what handles with that as well. Now, when it comes to immigration, I know you guys are very abreast of what's going on with immigration. And now there seem to be very targeted ICE sweeping as we're trying to eradicate and deport a lot of illegal immigrants out of America. Now, Tom Homan, okay, who is Trump's border czar, okay, the Trump administration border czar, he announced that ICE agents arrested over 370 individuals in the Boston area amidst these immigration raids that he have conducted alongside local law enforcement. And these arrests are part of an aggressive nationwide campaign prompting backlash from immigration advocates and local officials. Holman stated it's about law and order. Critics say it's political theater. I never understand these critics, whether they be Republican, Democrat, or independent. Who are these critics they keep naming, right? They never really name these critics because they're kind of rumoring and the backdrops of the political atmosphere, making these comments. I wonder who's for illegal immigration. Like truly, who's truly for immigration. And as I stated before, I'm not in America right now, but nonetheless, since I've been here in this very major city, I've only seen four homeless people. Four, four homeless people, and I've been all over this very large city in all the different areas and regions in the suburbs. I mean, we've been all over, and we've seen four homeless people. Now, granted, they may have them all in one area. I didn't run into that area. Now, I went to some very expensive areas, and I went to some areas that seemed low income. But nonetheless, I've only seen four homeless people. And one of the homeless people was in one of these very prominent areas in the shops, downtown, so to speak. But four, I mean, I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I, I can go pretty much anywhere downtown or uptown as long as there, buildings and apartment stores and organizations. I see a mass amount, unfortunately, of homeless people. You go to California, same thing. You go to New York, same thing. You go to Chicago, same thing. You go to Atlanta, same thing. Any major city in America, any well-known city in America, tell me when you can count the homeless people on one hand. So yes, we have a problem in America. And something like, what that has to do with illegal immigration? What does that have to do with illegal immigration? A lot of times I don't think we think about the broader ramification of illegal immigration because again, if I'm a businessman, and let's take for instance, because this is very stereotypical, I understand. So trigger warning, very stereotypical. But if I have a farm, and let's take for instance, I hire 100 Americans, I have to pay them $10 an hour to pick these fruits or pick or plant these vegetables, so on and so forth. But then I can get people who are illegally in the country from other countries, right? Whether they be from south of the border, Caribbean, Africa, Asia, Europe, but they're here illegally, and I can hire them for $3 or $4 an hour. Can you even imagine the amount of profit that I will surpass just by cutting the wages per hour of paying those people $3 to $4 an hour versus paying an American $10 an hour? And then even more so, I have to provide health care. Okay, if they're a full-time employee, I have to, by law, I have to provide health care if they're full-time. So do I make up some sort of scheme where nobody is really working full-time? No one's working over 36 hours per week. That's what a lot of business have been doing. Everybody is part-time. Oh, wait a minute. How many hours you got this week? Oh, after this 35th hour, you're not going to have any more hours this week because they don't want to offer health care. They don't want to even offer the basic health care because there's more money out of the business. More money out of the business. So what they do, they hire a lot of illegal immigrants. They don't have to pay them health care. They're paying them a portion of a third of the price or a third of the wages they will pay an American. So again, that lands a lot of Americans in hardship because of these jobs are being taken. And I really can't say taken. Let me backtrack. They're not being taken. They're being offered to illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are being hired, okay? Because we're use that term taken. They're not taking the jobs. They're not coming in like, give me these jobs. No, these businessmen are firing Americans and are hiring illegals. And we're going to cover some of that at the end of this broadcast about these H-1B visas as well as illegal immigrants, about the jobs they have been given and how this may help Americans to get back to work and decrease a lot of the homelessness that we have in America. So again, hopefully there's no American that is pro illegal immigration. That's just crazy to me. I really have no other words to state other than that's crazy. Now, a green card holder employee of the University of Washington Medicine in Tacoma, Washington was shockingly detained by ICE agents, and the arrest has caused uproar in local communities and among immigrant rights groups, highlighting concerns about racial profiling and due process under the Trump's immigration enforcement surge. Now, I think in the back of a lot of our heads that we understood that this was going to happen one way or another. We have to go through a couple of bumps in the road because this is a new frontier of tackling illegal immigration. And there's going to be some bumps in the road. There are going to be some people who are going to be hurt and harmed, even though they shouldn't be. I'm not stating this is justified. No one should be harmed emotionally, physically, psychologically, in any form by the changes that the Trump administration is doing. But just like any large change, there are going to be people who fall by the wayside. There are going to be people who are harmed in some form or matter. As America, a very large country, when it comes to our landmass, when it comes to our systems, when it comes to our influence in the world, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be harmed before things get better. So you're going to hear a lot of these stories out of local news agencies. You may even know people yourselves who may be harmed in some form or fashion. But this is the fallout when you're really trying to transform the government and quickly, as the Trump administration is trying to do. So this is very unfortunate. And I don't wish this on anyone. I don't wish this on anyone. Okay. Now, and again, we don't know her immigrant status when it comes to her green card. We don't know if the green card has been expired or has been extended. But again, no one should be going through certain situations as we, again, revamping and reconstructing our immigration policies and laws. The DOJ claims that Mahmoud Khalil, a graduate student at Columbia University, concealed ties to UNRWA, and that is the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, on his immigration documents. And again, the critics say that this is a part of a political crackdown on pro-Palestinian activism, and that the UNRWA, often accused by the right of links to Hamas, they have direct links to Hamas supposedly, and it provides humanitarian aid to Palestinian refugees. So again, we have to do a deep dive investigation to solidify and verify the information that this organization definitely has links to Hamas, and it's not just a relief organization for the refugees in Palestine. That's the extent of the coverage of that story because, again, I want to find more information, but I at least wanted to make you guys aware what's going on with Mahmoud Khalil. Okay. Now, the DOJ recently issued a memo that made complicated life for employers relying on foreign talent because stricter rules and a tighter review process for H-1B visas and other work visas have emerged, aligning with Trump's broader America First immigration policy. Businesses say that this could choke innovation. Trump camp says it protects U.S. jobs. Now, this is a very conflicting story for me because Elon Musk, as well as Donald Trump, come out and stated how they have hired and are employing hundreds, if not thousands, of people from other countries that are here in America on H-1B visas. But now Trump is backtracking or maybe taking a turn here, stating that this is going to protect U.S. jobs. This is going to help to put Americans back to work. Now, on the surface, this is a very good thing. But I wonder, those people who are already in America on H-1B visas, are they close to getting their citizenship? Are they close to getting their permanent residency? I'm just asking questions because I wonder why the turn of thought. I wonder why the backtrack, if any. And these are some of the things that we definitely have to look at. Because here's Pam Bondi, the U.S. Attorney General, stating that, hey, there's going to be some bad news for employers out there. Are you guys hiring a lot of these H-1B visas? And here's another thing that we have to understand. I think when we think about the hiring of H-1B visas, we're thinking about American citizens, all right, which we deem as American citizens, hiring H-1B visas. If you're over here on an H-1B visa, a work H-1B visa, can you establish your own business and then hire other H-1B visas? That's a question. If you guys know that, please leave it in the chat or in the comment section after the video post. Here's another question. What if I am from Yemen? Okay. I came over here from the Middle East. I essentially created a restaurant. Okay. I established a restaurant. Now, give me 1 second here. Look like I have a pop-up. I want to make sure that this doesn't mess up anything. Okay. Yeah, I had a pop-up here for some reason. But nonetheless, I came over here and I established a restaurant. And I'm a U.S. citizen. Okay, I'm from Yemen, but I'm a U.S. citizen. And I hire people from Yemen who are over here on an H-1B visa. How are those people going to replace them? They will have to replace them with U.S. citizens. Now, again, I have a lot of questions, but I don't want to bore you with some of the questions that I have concerning this. But this will start an uproar to a lot of businesses who have recruited talent from around the world. And a lot of this talent is in the market of IT. A lot of this talent is in the market of automation and robotics. So, again, we're going to see how this turns out. We're going to really see how this turns out nonetheless. Now, after a brief halt, because we all know how this was halted, I know you don't see a graphic there. This is the website having its own issues. The U.S. has resumed nonetheless deportations to Venezuela's under the Trump administration. So now we're back at it. We're now deporting a lot of the illegal immigrants to Venezuela. Those who are from Venezuela, rather, especially those MS-13s, as well as Trinidad, or as we have cloned and we label a lot of the gang members who are here in America from the country of Venezuela as MS-13 or from the gang Trinidad, they are now still being deported to Venezuela. Now, this move follows diplomatic tensions and invokes the rarely used 1798 Alien Enemies Act, which I covered on my post. If you guys look at my Black Logic post, I actually kind of gave a snippet of what the 1798 Alien Enemies Act is. But nonetheless, advocates are alarmed because warning of potential human rights violation in a country where deterring conditions. Yeah, we have to get people who are here illegally out the country, and especially those who are committing crimes, not just violent crimes, crimes. Now, we all know that if you're in the country illegally, that you've already committed a crime. You've already committed a crime. I don't think I need to dive no more deeper into that at all. Now, this story is stating basically that more tourists and legal residents are being detained at the U.S. borders without clear cause. And immigration attorneys report an increase in unexplained arrests and deportations, particularly for individuals from Muslim-majority nations or those with Palestinian ties. Critics argue it's profiling. ICE insists it's security. Man, stories like this, because America's on alert. We have heightened security, especially from certain Middle Eastern countries, is because we are allies with Israel and they are at war with Hamas that operates in the state, in the country of Palestine. And because of the fallout and the mass casualties, and I won't take stake at the Israeli army or the military officials, but targeted attacks could have been a lot better. But nonetheless, they're stating that over 40,000 men, women, and children have been killed who was not part of Hamas. So a lot of the Middle Eastern countries are now sending backlash, would it be verbally? And some believe that they may come to America to start harming Americans in mass attacks. So that is why the security profile has risen from a lot of these Middle Eastern countries, because of the war between Israel and Hamas. And we should be on high alert from people from these countries, not to discriminate, but to do thorough background checks, because we don't know who's coming inside of our country. We don't know their intentions. Because during this time, if I'm from one of these Middle Eastern countries, let's say I'm from Saudi Arabia, I'm from Yemen, I'm from Qatar, I'm from one of these Middle Eastern countries, whether we allies or friends with America, they're Muslim. Okay, and this is no stereotypical thing against Muslims. I know a lot of great people who took up the Muslim faith. It has nothing against Muslim, but these are what they say as Muslim countries. So there's a partnership. There's an ideology there. There is a spirituality that exists there. So there's a connection. They have a brotherhood. So some of them may take offense to what's going on, and they may want retribution. They may want revenge. So again, people from these countries, we definitely have to do a more thorough check than people we're not tied to in some form or fashion. Okay, that's just like if Russians, okay, that's just like if Russians come to America, they should be treated the same way, heightened security, background checks, the same way people from the Middle Eastern country, because again, we are supporting Ukraine. We're not supporting Russia, even though we're in these ceasefire talks that we hope that they lead to peace talks. But again, the way we're going about helping Ukraine, some Russians may feel a certain way about that and may do, sleeper attacks. They may come inside of America, wait for a certain period of time, whether it be cyber attacks or, a public attack. We still have to be very heightened when it comes to people where we have ties of people we are supporting or assisting with their wars and conflicts. So I don't really see the negativity in it, but I can see if we can take it a bit too far. Now, last but not least, I want to cover this because there are a lot of people outside of the US, even from Western countries. Now, this young lady here, she's from the UK, and majority of the people from the UK are from Africa. Majority of the people from the UK are from Africa. And I don't mean from Africa from 100 years, thousands of years back. No, most of the Black people in the UK, most of them, not all, most of the Black people from the UK are from Africa, and they're mostly first and second generation. Okay, very few are third and fourth. Most are first and second generation. But I just want you guys to hear what she's talking about in regards to coming to America. Listen in on this one.
Just in case no one's told you today, it is literally now or never, by the way. The United Kingdom have now officially warned their citizens, have warned us to not travel to the United States, and if we do, to be prepared of the heightened risk posed by the border and the new Trump administration. Historically, this has never been done by the United Kingdom or the United States, besides literally during 9/11 and the previous world wars. This is, of course, days after British, German, and other European tourists have also been detained for days, weeks at a time at the border. This is, of course, weeks after Trump has basically appeased Putin and has agreed to be a bystander to the invasion of Ukraine and practically any other European country that Putin has his eyes set on. I absolutely hate saying this as your friend from across the pond, but there's going to be a point where we are not going to have any international influence to help you guys because Trump is literally making that quite literally impossible. He's isolating America. How does nobody see that? To the extent that they will confiscate your phone at the border, and if you have anything that is negative towards Trump, they will literally ban you from the USA. So if you're an American watching, you really have to have the fight in your belly right now because it is truly now or never. I literally cannot say that any louder. What are you talking about? UK issues travel warning for US. Britain issues travel warning for the US. Britain has to beef up travel advice for added warning over US border enforcement. Government issues travel warning for the US. What are you talking about? Yes, the United Kingdom have updated travel advice for the United States, warning of tough consequences for Brits who break the US immigration rules. But you need to remember, literally just a couple of days ago, a French scientist was denied US entry after phone messages were critical of Trump found. This French scientist had his papers. This French scientist had his documents. But the reason why he was denied entry to the United States of America was because of critiques of Trump found on his phone. Quite frankly, I really wish I was being hyperbolic when I say that the UK is issuing warnings to travelers when they're traveling to the United States to be prepared of what's to come if they don't have certain things put in place. Because I literally wanted to go to America to meet some of my American mutuals this year. 2025 is the year of travel. Literally, all you need to do is go to any international news outlet and they'll be saying the exact same.
Yeah. So let me give my travel warning to people who derive in the UK, people who derive in Europe. Totally go through all of your digital media on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, and on your social media. Anything digital, anything that uh, immigration at the airport, immigration could find that could be anti-American or anti-Trump administration. Okay, and this is not me for the Trump administration. I'm no Republican. I'm no Democrat. I'm no independent. I'm just giving you guys a travel warning. Don't come to America with anti-Trump administration. Don't come to America with anti-American sentiments and digitally clean your entire footprint of anything anti-American, and you'll be okay. So so that's my travel warning to you guys. I don't get her point. Listen, I travel around the world and I don't go to any country speaking ill will about their government officials, about their people, about anything. I may criticize very small things, very minute things, but I'm not speaking, oh, this country is horrible. This country is this. No. If you really want to travel the world, then there's some things you just have to keep to yourself. Some things you just not have to report. Yeah, you should have freedom of speech in your country. In your country. See, that's what people get mixed up. Oh, I have rights and I have freedom of this. You have freedom of whatever you deem, but that is the freedom and rights that you have in your country, not an American. You're not an American citizen. I'm not a UK citizen. I'm not going to go to the UK and start saying very defamatory or defamation sort of things towards the citizens, nor am I going to do that towards the government officials. I'm just not going to do that. I don't care how people view Americans as being arrogant and that we're the best country in the world. I don't care about that. I'm not coming to your country disrespecting, or I'm going to have things in my phone that are disparaging towards that government. I'm just not going to do it. The most you're going to see in my phone, okay, the most things you're going to see in my phone that I research places to eat, activities, attractions, museums. You're going to see things like that. Lord. Blood Pack says, just don't come right now. The U.S. closed right now. You guys have a great and wonderful night. I see you, Volvo. Thank you for joining me here this evening. And I see you guys when I get back home. This is going to be my last video for about a day or two as I'll be traveling back to the U.S. Hopefully, they don't stop me. But I got a 99.9% chance that I'll make it through immigration just fine. You know, global entry, U.S. passport. Hold up. I need to brush my beard. I don't want them to get me mixed up with another country.